ADRA on the front lines, saving lives and helping Ukrainians face the devastation of war. Adventist NGO offers aid to refugees in Russia's Kursk region. Over 4,000 are baptized in historic spiritual renewal in the Philippines. Punta Cana hosts 2,000 pastors and families for an inspirational and renewing ministerial retreat. Media experts gather to advance the mission at a conference in the Philippines. These and other news now on ANN. Stay tuned. ADRA delivers critical aid to refugees in Kursk, a conflict-affected region in Russia.
Refugees in Kursk are facing a dire situation after being forced to flee their homes due to ongoing conflict in the border areas. Thousands are now living in temporary shelters as the humanitarian crisis continues to grow. Government aid is helping, but it's not enough to meet the overwhelming needs. Several charitable organizations have stepped in, with the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, ADRA, playing a crucial role. From the earliest days, ADRA has provided essential aid, including food packages and folding beds. As the crisis continues, the demand for clothing, bedding, and shelter remains high. In partnership with other entities and volunteers from local churches, ADRA has delivered over 1,500 bedding sets and 100 folding beds to Kursk, offering immediate relief to displaced families. The total aid provided has reached 2.2 million rubles, and ADRA remains committed to delivering ongoing support, addressing both immediate needs and long-term recovery.
ADRA's work in Kursk shows that even in tough times, compassion brings hope. With volunteers and partners, lives are being changed, proving that every act of kindness matters. The Adventist Church in the Inter-American region held its second ministerial retreat in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Nearly 2,000 pastoral delegates participated in the three-day event.
The program kick-started with the waving of flags, wide smiles, and bright-colored national traditional clothing worn by hundreds of Seventh-day Adventists from across the Caribbean islands. Pastoral delegations from 6 territories, including Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic, filled the convention center, while others joined virtually from Cuba and Venezuela. Pastor Eli Henry, president of the Inter-American region, welcomed over 1,100 pastors, their spouses, and church leaders to the event. Henry encouraged attendees to take a break from their busy schedules, be inspired, and renew their enthusiasm for ministry. He emphasized the importance of pastors deepening their relationship with God and serving with conviction. The event featured seminars, devotionals, prayer sessions, sports, and recreational activities to strengthen pastors and their families, with over 24 presentations and private family counseling available throughout the week.
The event focused on the spiritual well-being of church leaders, strengthened pastors and their families by highlighting the importance of balance and rest in sustaining a healthy ministry. Since February 2022, millions of Ukrainians have been displaced and thousands have lost their lives in the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. The situation remains dire, with daily attacks and a worsening humanitarian crisis exposing the harsh reality faced by millions of innocent people. Amidst this devastation, the Adventist NGO ADRA Ukraine, supported by partners, is on the front lines providing critical assistance, hope, and dignity to those who have lost everything.
2 excruciating years ago, we faced the new reality. The reality where the full-scale war has brought a great deal of uncertainty, a lot of pain, and many needs for support.
I came, opened the door, cried, because there was nothing. I sat right on the doorstep, screamed, and cried. What can I do? Who will help me? I had this feeling of great fear. Where will I live? How will I live? What will happen to me?
During these times of uncertainty, when the area of government-controlled Ukraine territories has significantly reduced and the lives of ordinary people are badly affected by the painful implications of the war, ADRA Ukraine, with the support of these numerous international partners, is here to give hope to those who have lost everything. The work we are doing is not only about providing assistance, but also about showing that the human dignity can be maintained and promoted regardless of the ongoing events.
These products are stored here in special conditions according to donors' requirements. Everything comes here from other warehouses all over Ukraine and on different projects. At the moment, we're working in Kupiansk district and representing ADRA to help people in this region. Also, our volunteer team has recently been enriched with people from other countries, in particular Finland, and has become international.
Over these 2 years, thanks to the support provided by our donors, ADRA Ukraine has been at the forefront of advocating dignity and saving human lives. Our volunteers have become invisible heroes during this time of great challenge.
Honestly, like you hear, I don't think many people understand how it is to live under the influence of war. It's so different experiencing this in person than just watching the news. The front line is just there, and we could see the smoke, we could hear the explosions, and after experiencing even a little bit of the hard, cold reality that the people live in here, it's just unbelievable to me that some people just don't care, or they think that they don't need to help, because the war is still going on, and that's why Ukraine needs our strong support.
Thank God that there are people who help us, who are there for us. We have already rebuilt the roof and windows, but there is no ceiling, only beams and the floor, and the house needs a stove and wood to heat it. That is a lot of work.
Thanks to our humanitarian project and many people all over the globe who responded to our call for help, the local population in the eastern part of Ukraine now has access to much needed fuel materials. This has contributed to improvement of the living conditions, since now people can heat their homes despite the lack of resources caused by the armed conflict. Thanks to our cooperation with the governmental agencies and humanitarian organizations in 35 countries worldwide, over 2,600,000 people have already received support. Still, despite such a significant progress, the situation is still challenging, and there is a great need for further support of Ukrainians dealing with the implications of the war on the daily basis. Over 17% of Ukrainian territories are now non-government controlled. This area is larger than the territory of Czech Republic or Austria. Yet people continue to sow their fields, risking their lives without even knowing if there will be a harvest.
There's such a compassion and solidarity inside of me that it just drives me. And it's also very inspiring to see the unity that the Ukrainian people have, the strength that they have. They are just fighting the situation that they are in. It's inspiring. I want to be at least trying to be as cool person as any Ukrainian.
International support of Ukraine is crucial to stop the potential crisis in Europe. Provision of financial assistance and other forms of humanitarian aid is a decisive factor to determine the future of both Ukraine in particular and the whole civilized world in general. We have been here since the very beginning, and now we still keep doing our best. Our charitable organization and its partners stand with those who are in need of support, from volunteers distributing food and medicines to shelter and housing assistance programs. We are still here to serve the people.
The commitment of ADRA volunteers who risk their lives daily to support the Ukrainian people underscores that even in the darkest times, love can make a profound difference. Let us keep the situation in our prayers. A faith surge sweeps central Philippines as over 4,000 are baptized.
A wave of spiritual revival swept through the central Philippines, leading to the baptism of more than 4,200 individuals. This extraordinary milestone came as a result of a massive evangelistic initiative spearheaded by the Adventist Laymen's Services and Industries and Adventist professionals. The campaign was meticulously coordinated across 406 locations, involving local churches and dedicated volunteers working together to spread the gospel. As a result, new believers from diverse backgrounds joined local Adventist congregations, marking a significant expansion of the faith in the region.
This effort shows the incredible power of organized evangelism and community involvement. Their dedication is inspiring and proves that when every member is involved, we can truly transform lives and strengthen faith. This week on ANN In Depth, host Sam Neves interviews Erton Kohler, Secretary of the General Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists. Discover the distinct responsibilities of the church's secretariat, treasurer, and president, and how these roles synergize to guide the church's global mission.
Welcome to ANN In Depth. Today we have the privilege of having with us Elder Erton Kohler, Secretariat of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. Erton, welcome to ANN In Depth.
Thank you, Sam. It's a pleasure for me to be with you.
Some people are not familiar with the term Secretariat, or they don't understand what the Secretary of the General Conference does. And they get the idea that you're not Ted Wilson's secretary, but I don't quite understand how it works. So tell us about this, the treasurer, the secretary, the president. How does it work between the three of you?
Well, let me start saying to you that the secretary in the church structure is not the secretary of the president, it's the secretary of the church, and it's totally different. We have three main officers in the structure of the church. The president, he's the responsible for the church, is the one that helps to guide the church, to give the direction for all the initiatives that we have. And we have treasury and secretariat. The names are clear. Secretariat is related to the technical processes of the church. We take care of all these things: minutes, meetings, agendas, records, and all these things. In all my meetings with secretaries, usually highlight to them that we have three main initiatives that we need to take care. Number one is the technical one. And the technical one is this one that I mentioned to you: minutes, records, and all these things. Is the day-by-day operation of secretariat. Number two is the administrative aspect of secretariat, because the secretary, or the executive secretary like we call, he's part of the administration of the church. He needs to be part of the decisions. He helps to implement the major decisions of the church. And the third one is the mission of the church, because since the beginning of the secretariat in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the global mission, the strategic mission to reach the world is under secretariat, especially at the General Conference level. At the division level and union and local conference, all other levels of the church, sometimes it's in the hands of other people, but especially at the General Conference, we are the responsible for the global church, the global mission of the church.
For the full episode and other videos delving deeper into the Seventh-day Adventist faith and its story, visit our official channel on YouTube. Continuing our exploration of health careers, discover today the role of chaplaincy in supporting patients and families.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Well, hello Pathfinders. I have enjoyed my time with you this week, learning about how each member of the Advent Health team strives to make their patients feel whole. Tonight I'm with my friend Kaylani, and Kaylani and I are going to introduce you to someone who uses her skills and abilities to care for others as Christ cares for us.
That's right, Jashawn. I'm sure that when someone is sick or injured, it could be a very hard time for the person, their families, or even the team members who are taking care of them.
You are absolutely right, which makes it so important for us to support our healthcare workers in both mind, body, and spirit.
So just as Jesus ministered to the sick,
chaplains do the same. So let's go meet my friend Carol. Hi, Chaplain Carol.
Hi.
My friend Kaylani is really interested in what you do, and she's thinking about pursuing a career similar to yours. Do you mind giving us some insight on what you do?
Oh, certainly. Let's walk to the chapel.
So Chaplain Carol, this week I've learned that Advent Health helps their patients not just physically and mentally, but also spiritually. How do you think your influence in the pastoral care unit helps with people's spiritual health?
People from all over the world comes here, and they have their religion, right? So I'm a Seventh-day Adventist chaplain. How can I connect with someone who is a Buddhist, or someone who is Jewish? But as one human being to the next, I can connect with you in your pain. It's not about the religion, it's about the spiritual part of it.
So Ms. Carol, what advice would you give to people like us or kids like us who are interested in spiritual care?
I think that the first thing we should do is go to God about it. We need to pray and ask God if this is what He has for me to do. The answer will come. I think it's good to also shadow someone who's a chaplain so you get an idea of what goes on. Know yourself, know what you can handle. But most of all, I'll tell you, is to talk to the Lord about it. If you have a passion for doing it, then I think that God is calling you. Would you like to see what I do here?
Yeah,
Can I
of
take you
course.
to the floors? Come on. So this is one of our nurses' station. Those are our nurses over there. Oh, Suzanne. Oh, wow. I have 2 young people that I wanted to meet.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering, what does Chaplain Carol do here, and how does she help you guys?
Chaplain Carol is very supportive of our unit. We're an oncology unit, which is cancer. It is very hard sometimes as caregivers. There's caregiver grief, and Carol's always there to support us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
How are you guys this morning? We have some special guests in the house. Thank you for joining us this morning for huddle time or devotion time.
God never goes back on His promise when He says, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. So for me, that is what I hold on to, that He loves me, He takes care of me, and one day He's coming back for me. That's a promise. Well, ladies, this is the NICU. It's one of the units that I work on, and this is Miss Debbie.
Nice to meet you both. I'm Debbie. I'm one of the NICU nurses here.
What does Chaplain Carol do here to assist in the NICU unit?
She comes in and supports the moms. She supports us. She talks to us. She comes and blesses our hands, and she's wonderful.
Thanks, Carol. We're so grateful for chaplains like you who offer a hand to hold and a heart to listen.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Oh, thank you.
Chaplaincy offers vital spiritual support to patients and families. It's a powerful way to make a difference and might be a career path worth considering. A media conference unites communicators for mission in the Central Philippines. With the theme Wired for Mission, participants gathered to learn about the role of media ministry in fulfilling the gospel message of salvation.
The Adventist Church in the Central Philippines held the Adventist Internet Network and Adventist World Radio Conference at Iloilo City. Delegates learned essential skills like digital evangelism, radio broadcasting, video editing, and social media evangelism. The 3-day event featured lectures from Adventist media experts and breakout sessions tailored to specific interests. Attendees were ultimately commissioned to use digital technology in advancing the mission of sharing God's message of salvation.
What a blessing it is to equip and empower the church with modern digital tools, enabling it to inspire others and spread the good news of the gospel to the world. In a small town in North Carolina, USA, a simple conversation in a restaurant triggers a surprising transformation. Let's explore the story of a man from Hickory who, in search of a healthier lifestyle, discovered the Adventist faith and became a leader in a new Hmong community, an ethnic group originally from Southeast Asia.
Chinu would have never guessed that a conversation about organic tomatoes would lead him and his family to the Adventist faith. He met a Seventh-day Adventist at his job, and they often ate lunch together. His new friend noticed that every time they went out to eat, Chinu threw his tomatoes to the side. So he began talking to him about the value of nutrition and health.
I just lost my best friend, was just in a really tough place. Health-wise, I was just in a terrible condition. And that's when I had met one of my very good friends today, and he shared with me the health message.
It wasn't long before Chinu was studying about health and the Sabbath. His family began keeping the Sabbath by going on walks and having worship in nature. They did this every week. Hickory, North Carolina was once a textile town that developed a large immigrant community who came to work. One of the largest groups was the Hmong from Southeast Asia. When manufacturing jobs moved overseas, a large number of workers left Hickory. However, the Hmong population stayed. The Hickory Korean Adventist Church's numbers had dwindled. The few members left noticed their Hmong neighbors and decided to plant a church. Their goal was to eventually give their space to a future Hmong congregation.
As I was in between jobs, I was doing interpreting on the side. I received a phone call one day from a pastor at the Korean SDA Church in Hickory asking for a Hmong interpreter to teach them how to speak Hmong.
So Chinu's family attended an Adventist church for the first time.
It just felt like a breath of fresh air. It just felt like just this immense pressure just taken off of, it was like my spirit felt so free that first time that we were able to worship.
Even just the Korean church members that were there, their character, it actually reflected Christ because they were so friendly and so kind and welcoming that we just felt like we belonged there. And it just felt like it was right. It was where our family needed to be.
The family had always been active members of another church. They continued to attend both churches for a while. Eventually, Chinu and Gina were overwhelmed.
We had a lot of connection, a lot of friends, and we were leaders of a small group, and we didn't want to just leave them behind.
Chinu and Gina earnestly asked God to reveal where they should be.
First thing we said was, if anyone ever asks us to choose between one or the other,
we know which decision
we know where we need to be.
The next day, their former pastor asked them to hurry up and come back full-time to the church.
And we kind of just looked at each other and said, thank you, God, for the answer.
Yes.
The Korean elders believe God is calling them to help plant a Hmong congregation, and they are committed to supporting in any way possible. Church elder Daniel Kim, a recently retired electrical engineer, and his wife Myung have moved away to Georgia to care for her parents. But they drive 6 to 7 hours round trip every Sabbath to support the Hmong church plant.
We feel like we're part of something important. So because of that sense of mission that we have, the vision that we have, the goal that we have, so because of that, we don't feel like, it's a long drive or hard drive.
We were just drawn in by their Christ-like character from the very beginning, their friendliness, their willingness to help, and really their desire, their selflessness, and their desire to help the Hmong community. And I think for us, that passion is very contagious. And for us, being Hmong, of course, there's just a big burden, a big responsibility we feel to share the good news with those around us that haven't heard the message.
All of Chinu and Gina's kids play a role in the church. From helping teach the children's Sabbath school to running the audiovisual system, everyone is involved. Even Cadence, the youngest, turns the lights off to watch Mission Spotlights and back on afterward. There is still much to do for this Hmong church plant in Hickory. We invite you to pray as the work continues.
One thing to pray is really to really come to know who God is, who a loving God and a merciful God, and God that is willing to heal, not only physically, but spiritually.
Thank you for supporting Mission and planting churches around the world.
This story reminds us how small interactions can lead to significant transformations. In a welcoming community, faith can flourish in unexpected places. May we all be inspired to seek new friendships with the purpose of sharing the eternal lifestyle that Jesus offers us. With these inspiring stories, we conclude this episode of ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Did you know the Seventh-day Adventist Church has a YouTube channel where you can watch other amazing videos? Just go to YouTube and search for the Adventist Church. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you never miss a new video. And remember, leave a comment or a prayer request. We have a team dedicated to praying for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Before we say goodbye, we'll leave you with some good news from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. The text says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord." And remember, you can always visit Adventist.news for daily news and videos. Until next time, when we will have more news of faith, love, and hope, God bless.